Alrighty, folks. I promise you, this is Dana Dunford, CEO of Hemlane. As you will hear in a minute, her voice is a little raspy. I did make sure, just so you know, it's not painful. She just got back from celebrating an event in Vegas or wherever the heck she was, and it's just a little raspy, but it is not painful. So we're going to continue with our weekly discussions. Dana, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me again. I wish I were in Vegas because then I would have contacted you, Michael. But yeah, I was down in LA.
Gotcha. And again, I just want to make sure for the video, the voice is raspy, but it is not painful. Is that correct?
And that is correct. Yeah.
All right. I would feel horrible if I had to do this with a painful voice. So we will continue because I think it's kind of cool. Well, let's talk about something Himlane just announced. You just announced a free forever option with Hemlane. What the heck are you doing? Are you just wrapping $100 bills around things and losing money left, right, and center? Why the heck would you launch a free forever plan? How can that be good for a for-profit organization?
Yeah, I think when you think about the journey of being a landlord and a real estate investor, you talk about doing the work and doing all of the work yourself. And what I found with landlords just starting out is when you have that mentality, you have this mentality of, I'm not going to pay for something. If I were going to pay for something, then I would use a full service manager
Mm,
for it. And I need to know how the process works. And this is just consumer behavior in general,
sure.
that consumers are, I think, almost skeptical of products at this day and in this day and age, skeptical
Sure.
of how much it's going to help them. And then also they, I don't mean this in a negative way, but consumers don't value their time. The
Mm.
actually the only consumers I've ever seen really value their time is lawyers because
Good
because
point.
they have an hourly rate. So they're
Yeah.
sitting there thinking, okay, I charge $1,000 an hour. So if I were to do this one task that takes an hour, I
Mm.
could pay someone else to do it for $500 and,
Right.
it would be beneficial to me. But most consumers would prefer to just do it themselves. And so for us, what we found is once someone uses Hemlane,
Mhm.
or uses, I mean, you think of any tool that helps you in your day-to-day life, you always think, oh my gosh, how did I do it before? Or like,
Right.
why didn't I use this? And so this was really our way, especially during tenant placement when you're not making any money, like rental income is not coming in for you. This was our way to say, hey, use Hemlane. We offer the advertising, so like
Yep.
finding and placing a tenant for free.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, we offer accounting for free. We believe everyone should see their financials, so we're going to offer that for free.
Wow.
You can get these two things and never worry about a 14-day, now you have to pay to continue to use it. You can just use Hemlane for those. Our goal with it is a twofold. One, you get a little taste of Hemlane. You get to experience what our tools and services are. That's number one. The second one is making sure that when you hit a point in your journey where you say, oh my gosh, I have a repair or I have an inspection that needs to be done, and I don't know how to handle this, that
Mhm.
you say, you know what, let me give Hemlane a try with this. And so that's why we launched a free version. We went back and forth on it, Michael, for quite some time. And it was a pretty easy decision at the end of the day. Like when we actually said we need to make the decision, we just listened to customers.
Mm.
We just went out and listened to your audience and other real estate investors or even accidental landlords to understand what was going to provide value to them. And at the end of the day, it's what your customers want that helps make those decisions a lot easier.
Oh, I think it's a genius move. I think it will clearly pay off. And I'm actually shocked a little bit that you also gave the financials. In all honesty, I think attacking the problem up front, advertising, tenant placement is a genius move, like freaking genius. Get somebody in, get somebody hooked, get somebody using the system. Look how easy it is. When they're not making any money, you're right, right? The property is vacant, and the last thing they want to do is add costs. So giving them that genius move makes total sense to me. Now let's talk about financials. I think giving them financials is like next level kind of 4D chess, if you will. because that's that's the sizzle, right?
Mm.
A lot of kind of the audit trail and the communication is blocking and tackling and all of that. But at the end of the day, mom and pop landlords, even with one unit, they want to see how the property is performing, and that is the financials, whether it's the income statement or cash flow or, however you want to kind of report that. So I think giving them a taste of the upfront advertising and the back end kind of financials, uh, it's 40 chess. Congratulations. I love it.
Great. And yeah, I think the reason with the accounting, so you're right, the finding and placing a tenant when your property is vacant, you're not making any income, it makes sense to say, okay, let's give that away for free. The interesting thing with the accounting and why we thought about it is we can actually help you. If you find it is the reason that landlords decide not to landlord or go and put their money somewhere else, even though we know real estate is the best asset class that you can go into. The reason people don't do it is the emotional aspect.
Mhm.
I'm getting rent on the third of the month versus the first of the month. This is very emotional. I don't know. Maybe the tenant's going to start paying me on the 10th of the month and I miss my mortgage. And
Mhm.
so for us saying, hey, we are going to make sure that we can help you by understanding how well your property is doing. That was the value that we saw for
Oh,
customers. And if you see that the rent check is coming in on the first of the month every month, great.
yeah.
No problems, probably not emotional. But if we see tons of repair requests all the time, negative cash flow, and alligator property, those are the times where we would come in and say, you know what? Maybe do things differently.
Yeah.
Maybe rethink about it. Is this the right property to have? Are these the right tenants to have? And so I think being able to provide those insights initially to say, okay, here's how we could action it.
Mhm.
Here's how one rental at a time could action it. If you're looking, we don't help people buy and sell properties at all. Um, Go to one rental at a time, make sure you're doing the work, make sure you find a really good property. Those types of things were really important to us.
Yeah. And again, I think giving them the free version to taste, to try when they need it, and also that visibility on the back end, I think it really ties the upfront kind of it removes the burden, right? Because a lot of new landlords are like, I don't need it. I'll do it myself. I'll do Craigslist or I'll do whatever. And there's simply a better way, right? I mean, let's remind people how many places you're going to advertise that for them right up front, right? You're not just going to do Craigslist or Zillow or whatever. You're going to do more than a couple, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we do. It's interesting. We used to do over 30 rental listing websites. The last 20 get point, or I think it's the last 18 get 0.2% of the leads.
Point two.
It
Point
was
two.
like none. So now we do the 12 top listing websites, and here is why.
Makes
There's been
sense.
consolidation of listing websites. So if you think of who basically owns the tenant experience of finding tenants, or sorry, finding a rental property to actually live in, it is the Zillow Group, which owns Truly and HotPad. So that's one. It is CoStar. They own apartments.com. It is Redfin who is getting into the space. They also own Apartment Guide, Rent.com, Rentals.com, and Live Lovely.
Hmm.
And then a couple of other ones like the Zumpers of the worlds and the Realtor.com of the world. But those are the ones where you get 99.8% of the leads. And so we list all of those and we make sure to do that for you. So you click one button and it goes out to all of them.
And that is now free in this free solution, correct?
Exactly. That's correct.
Wow. Talk about giving them all the value up front, letting them show how easy it is to use. That's pretty amazing. If somebody wanted to go get this free solution or get a trial of the entire solution, where do we send them, Dana?
Yep, you can go to www.hemlane.com. And then if you go to our pricing page, you'll now see free there. We just launched it last night, I think at it was like 11 p.m. So you guys are the first to hear about it.
Very, very cool. That is awesome, folks. Again, go to hemlane.com, go to the free version if that's where you're at, or go to the trial if you want to see it. Soup to nuts, 14-day trial is still available, correct?
That is correct.
Dana, you're wonderful. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Great job.
Thanks for having me.